Most people don't want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Being offended is not the same as being right. Feelings ain't facts.
Hey Konene, so jana kuna video fulani nilicheki na hii video inasemekana ilikuwa imetoka Masai za Bungoma, and basically there was this very huge crowd, and yeah, so there was a political rally ya Linda Mwananchi, and there is one guy who didn't go for the rally, but people are like, even if you're not there physically, ama you're not here physically, we are with you in spirit. We'll just check. Check your crowd, Joe. Hii crowd yote inasema sisi ni Sifuna. I don't know why Sifuna hakuweza kuattend this, but this was one of those really, yeah, and it's one of those rallies that show that his popularity is rising, and as his popularity rises, kuna a very interesting poster that I saw, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. So the poster ilikuwa ni Kenya 2027, a new dawn, a united Kenya. Then ikakuwa ni Edwin Sifuna for president, alafu Kalonzo Musyoka for deputy president. Ikakuwa ni one nation, one people, one future. Ikakuwa ni securing our nation, growing our economy, empowering our youth, and protecting our environment. Pamoja tuendelee, vote 2027. And yeah, this poster is giving 2007. What do I mean by that? 2007 ilifika time Kalonzo was very sure that he was going to be the presidential candidate wa ODM, and as soon as they told him no, he moved to ODM Kenya, and in the process he ended up running. Right now in 2027, Kalonzo has been waiting for this opportunity for such a long time that anyone who thinks that Kalonzo can step aside for Sifuna is dreaming. Why? Kalonzo will feel like he's old, so his time is now. That's number one. Number two, Kalonzo will feel like I've been a deputy president before I'm a vice president. That is, vice president, deputy president, same bullshit. I don't want it. Why? Because it guarantees you nothing. Remember, Kalonzo, I think inasemekanaga for 2007, for him to accept to sanitize what had happened kwa hiyo elections, he was promised by Kibaki that Kibaki would support him in 2013. Then what happened? Of course, Kibaki support Uhuru. Why? Because ICC happened. I don't think your time Kibaki alikuwa expect ICC to happen. So he was a vice president, and he saw how, in quotes, useless that position can be. Look at even Mseka Mudavadi ashakuwa vice president. So I don't see a situation whereby this becomes a reality. And anyone who's thinking that there can be a ticket of Edwin Sifuna as the president and Kalonzo as the deputy is full of shit. Can it be the other way around? If Gachagua allows, which I highly doubt, a situation where Kalonzo for president, deputy Edwin Sifuna, Kalonzo can't allow, any Gachagua can't allow that. Because don't forget another thing pia kichwa Gachagua, we need to know. Okay, hii wiki tutajua where his fate is, ikikam to history yote. But with Gachagua, another thing about him is, with the mountain, he has a very tricky thing to decide. Because if he was to decide to elevate someone from the mountain to be deputy president, that might mean that ye mwenyewe powers zake and him as the kingpin ends. Because now there'll be a more, in quotes, powerful guy, someone very close to the presidency. So now he has a thing he needs to ask himself. Do I endorse someone else to be a running mate? Ama do I myself, if I'm cleared, demand the running mate position, which he can demand from Kalonzo, because Kalonzo hata nikoshua saizi Kalonzo anatry kumconvince yuko mimi nikipewa hii kitu nitakuwa mtu wa one term, so I'll give you the second term. I just need to taste the honey. Yeah, we know we've had these things. shaisikia kwa ulianza kuochiko nini kitambo, shaisikiaga ile story. Hii story nafaa kupetiana saizi kweli, but kuna story fulani skili happen Ocha, ile kuna raya iko na omba dem akakataa, afu raya kaambia dem na kijaka adu ama na CMA. Ushasikiaga ile story raya utanganyaga dem, naambia dem just the tip, adu ama na CMA is worse, they just want to point at it. Check. So that's the same thing that Kalonzo will lie to anyone. It's like, oh, I just want one term, but the minute you get there you want more, checky, and you want more and you want more. That's just the thing that happens with power. So this ticket is, and the person who made this poster is like one of those people nasamagani super clueless about how Kenyan politics works, because this is never happening. But talking of course, and why is it never happening? It's because of Gachagua. Gachagua will have to have a say. And right now, as much as yeye na Sifuna, they both believe in one term, I don't think they stand for the same things. Sifuna actually wants a new Kenya, in quotes. Gachagua does not want a new Kenya. Gachagua wants to maintain the status quo, but with him in an influential position. But does he want less corruption? No. Does he want less police brutality? No. Does he want whatever? No. Why? Because he's also benefited from the messed up system. So kumbuka time ya kufa dereva kufa makanga, yuko kwa the same league. That's why natiketa nini, kumbuka nikianalyzigi like the Ruto government and the first Ruto cabinet, I always talk about vile kulikuwa na mtu wa murder case, kulikuwa na mtu wa rape case, kulikuwa na mtu wa, and with Gachagua always talk about the corruption case. And this guy anaitwa Ruto, and how Ruto saved him from that corruption case, and why Ruto felt like he should have been grateful. Because remember, by the time Gachagua was debating Matakarua, he was asked how much he's worth, and he said 600 million. And we assumed that was 600 million because Uhuru had frozen his 200 million. So that means his net worth was 800 million. But right now his net worth is over 2 billion. Why? Courtesy of Ruto. Because remember, Gachagua still had a corruption case in quotes where there was a land dispute ya 1.5 billion. Kauli wachile interview tulihave na yeye, kumbuka nilimuuliza hii swali, ili akasema he does not own it, a company owns it, but he owns the company. So with that, he's worth over 2 billion. But who saved him from that case? Ruto. Why? Because birds of a feather flock together. So Ruto alianza kujichocha na vile aliokoa Gachagua.
Ndio kondoo.
Huyo mtu nilimkuta ule Kajieda. Uhuru alimpeleka kotini kwa sababu ya kuiba mali ya wananchi. Nikampatia nafasi, akaenda akakuwa mwizi ya mambo ya kahawa, akaenda kuungana na cartel. Akaenda huko hadi anapigana na pombe, akakuwa extortionist kwa wale wafanyabiashara. Akatoka hapo akaenda akaiba mali ya ndugu yake. Bibi ya ndugu yake wanahangaika, watoto wa ndugu yake wanahangaika, na yeye anajaribu kutumia kifua to intimidate them.
So mnachiki hapo Ruto anatoa hizo za ovyo za aliokoa Gachagua. But tumecheki hiyo design nasema alikuwa na kesi alafu akamuokoa. So it's the same shit. So coming back to your story ya Sifuna. So one thing that we need to not make the mistake of is that Kenyan politics and Kenyan politicians, the hardcore wanaitangwa nini politicians, legacy politicians, that they don't want radical change. They don't want radical change. They want some level of, you know what, like familiarity. And the level of familiarity comes from them electing someone who they know they can control. And I think right now Sifuna is such a wild card that no one would want anything to do with him. And talking of Sifuna, nilibaki kuna boy flani anafanya AI zingine kali sana. But huyu boy nisataka kujua jo, inaka sijui kama amelipwa na Ruto, sijui kama ni is just something that he feels that he needs to do. But I find him to be super interesting. So he did this Nini. To me, he's one of the best kikam to stories AI hapa Kenya. I don't think there's anyone I've seen at this level. Uboy anajita Stone GFX, and kuna vitu zake ziko zina trend majuzi, and one of the ones that actually interested me kabisa ilikuwa ya ametengeneza Sifuna wakifight na ni Sifuna wakifight na Jalas, and I'm there like, damn man, Stone GFX, like what's up? Do you have something against Sifuna? Because this makes no sense. This is the sort of thing saizi kila mtu anasema sisi ni Sifuna. When you watch this video, because it's this guy is good at his job, man. You'd actually think this is Jalas na Sifuna na fight. So check jo, sura ya Sifuna ni ile, corridor ni ile, Jalas ni yeye kabisa, and you see Sifuna losing the fight. Can Sifuna actually lose the fight ya Senate? I don't think so. But this Stone GFX guy, man, this guy is going to be a problem, man. He's going to be one of the best. Like come to history ya AI, and kauko mtaani, you need to learn this thing, man. This is the future, and this future is going to help us a lot, because I think at some point all it's going to be taking is very good scripts, then actors one is a voice, and then characters wanakuwa AI generated, and it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to open up, especially I think for African movies, it's going to open up. Boy, ameseti mob, kuna zingine za Gachagua na Kindiki na zote zake, there's that element of Gava winning. That's what nashindwa jo. Stone Buddha jo, yako inaendaje jo? So hizo zingine endeni mcheck kwa page yake ya Instagram, and Stone GFX, man, this is like one of the guys that I have to salute and be like, damn, you're good at your job, man. I think hata ukienda hapo kwa yake ni Stone GFX, AI powered marketing and advertising agency. Then this guy is good. Tiketa kuna moja hapa picha AI generate ya nani au dem anaitwa nani ya Mjaka Mfine akiwa na iShow Speed. Of course ukiangalia iShow Speed vizuri una notice it's not iShow Speed, but it's super close. So this guy is really good at this AI thing, man. Okay, hii ilikuwa ni ya January. Big shout out to Stone GFX, but damn, I think zijitoa kwa ile nomati Ruto amemweka kwa payroll, because some of those fights, especially ya Sifuna, saying that Sifuna is going to be whooped, hapo watu wamekataa. But still, let's go back to jana, the Sunday Standard ilibaki imebonga juu ya something that I had mentioned before. And kama uliwatch video zangu za hiyo Nini, like a lot of stuff happened. Ilikuwa nimeenda some family party, because ilikuwa mtoi, ilikuwa ni birthday ya mtoi. Ended up place internet ni mbaya jo. I don't know if I should mention that place. The place is beautiful, man, but the internet is pathetic. I could not be able to upload those videos, and they were 1080p. I was unable to upload them, so that's the reason why zilichelewa etc. But yes, the Sunday Standard ilikuwa na, so the finance bill ya 2026 ilikuwa ni punitive again. Ikakuwa ni ghost of 2024 Gen Z protests could be reawakened by the return of new taxes on the day-to-day items like mobile phones, bottled water, and credit card swipe. Ikakuwa the finance bill 2026 also empowers the taxman to come down harder on small businesses. This comes at a stressful period when inflation is at a 2-year high, squeezing pockets of ordinary Kenyans. Could the new pain trigger another round of resistance as we head to the elections next year? And do I think it's going to trigger protests? No. I think when it comes to protests, Ruto was actually able to beat Kenyans into submission. The wase wengi had not seen that level of blood. Nacheki. Alafu now, because of social media, that people were able to see these things. You didn't need to be following someone specific for you to see this. It was shared, and it was shared widely by different people. So in the process, this ended up reaching a lot of Kenyans, and because of that, I think a lot of people are afraid, because the worst thing about life is self-preservation is the first instinct tunakuwaga nayo. So with self-preservation, what happens is we are born afraid of two things, nakugani height and loud noises. Height cause of kianguka, gravity, alafu loud noises. So what happens during protest? Loud noises. And that's why a lot of people will end up staying at home to self-preserve. So I don't think that it's going to spark protests. Do I think that it's going to make people look forward to next year and hopefully vote? Yes. And hopefully that's what people do. Najua, let's think about doing this once and for all. If there's ever a one-term president in Kenya, Kenya is going to change. I always say this. 2007 Kibaki angeamua ku step down, Kenya would be very far right now. Most probably Raila angekuwa one term pia. After now the next guy who's come up would have had to unite Kenya and do everything right. So right now we'd be far because politicians would be accountable. But as soon as politicians will notice, no, you don't have to be accountable and you can shoot your way through. That's when achikimse kama Sudi anashinda kusema hizo stories za I'll shoot Nini, tutachukua Nini, will steal the votes. No one has ever run this country for 5 years. Yes, no one has ever run the country for 5 years, and that means that politicians don't feel like they need to answer to anyone. They feel like, if I'm in power, I can just use the bullet and I'll stay there. What are Kenyans going to do about it? So yeah, that's the problem that we have. So what's happening? So yeah, paka to mother naitwa I think Wavinya Ndeti jo nilicheki Wavinya Ndeti kibonga juu story ya Sudi and the way that Sudi was telling people that wataiba, cause hii kuambia sawa wataiba, it's a problem, man, because if they decide to say that hautaiba, eventually will you win? Kama Samia, yes, you'll win, but at what cost is it going to come? And konene, so nimekuwa nikibonga na wase wako US, najua na wase wangu wako US jo, kama bado hujajoin Lemfi jo, nangoja nini? Make sure umetumia promo code konene. But saizi wacha nibonge na wase wako Europe na pia nibonge na wase wako Brito. Usisahau kuwa join Lemfi na tumia promo code konene so that on your first transaction ya 100 euros utabaki umepata 10 euros cashback. Na kama uko Britain, on your first transaction ya 100 pounds utabaki umepata 10 pounds cashback. So nangoja nini? Baki umechangamka. Na usahau kuwa bado ukiwa hizo area za majuu utabaki umepay your bills hapa Kenya. Tuseme unataka kulipia madhako internet ama unataka kumlipia stima, unaweza tumia paybill haraka. Madha anaweza kupigia jua kuambia yuko kwa line jo, anataka till, yani umwambie tu tuma till number, alafu unaingia kwa Lemfi, unabaki umechangamka haraka. So baki umechangamka, fika Lemfi, tumia promo code konene. Jia nini? Lemfi ni international payments for everyone. Konene. It was interesting to see Wavinya Ndeti, because unajua Wavinya mimi namjuanga tu na stories zake za ya ndwele sipite. But alibaki amesema something powerful that you can't start provoking people because you never know. Na hizi vitu zote at the end of the day you never know. You might think that the needs to enough to stop the people, and then you find out. Najua ndio fafu. Fuck around and find out.
Mheshimiwa Sudi, wacha nikwambie. Unapanda mbegu mbaya. Hii unapanda ni mbegu mbaya. Kuambia watu sijui mnaenda kurigi, sijui mnaenda kufanya nini. Tupige siasa za amani. Yule atashinda ashinde. Yule atashindwa ashindwe. Na hii Kenya ni yetu. Tukishinda Mheshimiwa Ruto, bado yeye alikuwa president, atapatiwa heshima ya Kenya. Now you're even agitating the young people of this country. You are knowing the young people of this country. You know what the young people have gone through. Sasa wewe unatafuta vita haiko. Wachana na hiyo maneno ya kuongea hivyo. Sudi tafadhali. Wachana na hiyo maneno.
Msikio, hiyo sana Wavinya Ndeti alikuwa anamwambia kaujui. Sudi alisema just this week that if they lose the election they're going to steal it. No one has ever served for one term, and Ruto would be the first. And it looks like an empty threat, but if you've lived long enough in Kenya, you know it's not empty. Because most probably you've heard of someone called Msando and how he passed away. And you've heard of how the elections were still annulled. It was 2017. Then most probably you've heard about how Uhuru was like, we are going to revisit. And then if you go online, you've seen the images, even kids ended up voting. That's the Kenyan way. That's what we have to live with. But one of the things that you have to give Uhuru credit for, if you never had Uhuru thump his chest and be like, you know what, we are going to rig, we are going to do this. Of course, he said something like, wanasema tunaiba, kwa nini hao wenyewe wasiibe? Kila time huwezi sema umeibiwa. So there was that. But talking of hizo elections the next year, of course, one thing that's going to happen is money is going to be used. And who is going to spend the most money? Of course, the UDA. So in the process, footage because go around as a UDA and the way they walikuwa try kubribe wase. I think in stories are all Kalau. Kasi all Kalau ni hizi rallies za Ruto. And people are having fun with it because as Gachagua said, chukua pesa.
Deni hoteli bro. Nini? Kinena.
Okay, nakumbuka Gachagua kijoke that that kutafuta change ni shida because kila mtu iko na thao. I guess maybe that's the truth, man. Kutafuta change ni shida, man. Yeah, but it's what that's the political environment that we've created. And yeah, since we are talking about the political environment, let me talk about the electorate again. Kumbuka nili get a lot of backlash for saying that when you see these weird characters who are MPs and senators, you should always blame the electorate. And people are like, oh, but that person is nominated. Does not matter if someone is nominated or not. It's the people that determine what sort of leaders are nominated. So kulikuwa na mse fulani, he's a aspirant wa Mathare, and this guy was busy giving people money. Anaitwa ni Wilfred Oluoch Odalo. So kulikuwa na hii video ilikuwa na go around ile unachikiwa mother lazima wa dance alafu atika anawapatia thao. Alafu unachikiata kuna mother fulani wa nikawa church yuko hapo kwa background. So wa mother ndio wanapatiwa, lazima ubaki umedance alafu unapatiwa thao. And you see, with them they start believing that they as the electorate start believing that politicians are supposed to give them handouts. So this means that if they end up with a leader who can change their lives but has not given them handouts, they're not going to want that leader. They're going to want who are handouts. And this means that the vitu zi change itakuwa hard sana. Yeah, because if this Oluoch Odalo was to lose out on the seat, they'd want him nominated. Why? Because he gives them money. That's why I'll keep saying, as much as we say the politicians, you have to look at the electorate. But do I still understand this? I understand this. This is sponsored by poverty. And William Ruto, poverty leaves you with no dignity. So these women, if you find them dancing like this, it's because they need to. The particular 1,000 shillings is the difference between their kids eating and their kids not eating. So I also want to be hypocritical, but I'll still say there's a problem with the electorate. And the problem is the electorate does not even understand what's the role of a legislator. An MP should be there to make laws, not to give handouts. CDF should not be happening. But remember the way these MPs fought for CDF. Mpaka CDF ikarudishwa. Kumbuka ilikuwa inafaa ku-expire this year in September. Baki imerudi. Why? Because they need to steal. They need to make money from it. But yeah, watu wana dance for handouts, hawajui that that's basically their money that's being given to them. Mbele, yeah. The money still has to be recovered. Yeah? In what ways? Mi sijui. Eko nene.